Imagine moving to Africa as an African American and then you get Africans calling you white. The horror. Let's discuss. Hi there, my name is Janita Maaya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, please subscribe for more episodes like this and so much more. Let's dive in. So I was on the YouTube 321. So I was scrolling on YouTube and I came across this video from Mr. Joseph Mele, and he was talking about when Africans call African Americans white people. So, you know, sometimes when you watch a video and you read the comments were doing a bit much, and I said, let's bring it on this platform and discuss. Let's watch it.
She's an African American, and she was writing about her experiences in Rwanda. She said some Africans call her Mzungu, and she commented and said, it is so sad. That's what inspired me to create this video. The fact that Africans call an African American Mzungu, and the fact that the African American is not happy, is saddened by that.
You can see the statement, and just to give you guys a backstory, sometimes when you go to some African countries and the moment people find out that you're not from there or you are American, they'll call you Mzungu. Mzungu is more East African. It means white person, because for the longest time, I will say East Africans, you know, only saw foreigners as white people. Like it was only white people were seeing visiting Africa, and then the times have changed. Not to say black people are not visiting Africa before. Also, I want to let you guys know that everything I say in this video is not to create division or anything like that. It's just an interesting topic that I thought I could bring on here and discuss. Also, please keep in mind and exercise the rule of exception. When I categorize people and put them in one bracket, it doesn't mean I'm literally meaning that. It just means I'm just saying that, but please exercise the rule of exception. It's some, not all, most. So exercise that, and I'm not trying to generalize. With that being said, let's head in. So when you visit Africa, you may be called Mzungu, which is East African, like I've mentioned. And for the longest time, all East Africans saw were Mzungu, were white people visiting. You know, it became a thing like, oh, that's a white person, that's a Mzungu. The Nigerians call that Onibo. I think even Mexicans called them gringo or something like that. So there was always a local word to mean foreigner for people coming in. And now that black people have started moving to Africa, the word does get offensive to some people, but I'll be watching some clips, reacting to them. I'll read some comments and also react to them. But the essence of this video is to encourage you not to get offended when you hear statements like that being said, because I don't think it comes from a malicious place. Like there's no malicious intent behind the word. It's just a word that most of us have grown up, you know, have grown up hearing. We've been told a foreigner is called this person, you know, a foreigner is called that person. I mean, there's so many Africans who didn't even know that African Americans existed. You know, there was so many. What we saw in the media was so different, and it's not something we're seeing. All we saw here were like white people and foreigners. But yeah, that's just it. In this video, he goes ahead to explain why the word Mzungu, where the word Mzungu comes from, and why, you know, you need to maybe understand it. Let me play it.
Why would Africans call African Americans white people? I want to talk about that. The word Mzungu is the word that a lot of Africans use to describe white people. Africans who speak Swahili and related languages in what's called the Bantu system of languages. There are variations in how the term Mzungu is pronounced. It can be Mzungu, Musungu, Nsungu, but it's the same concept. They use this word on a most.
Okay. There we have it from him, where he's talking about describing a white person and where the word comes from. I think it was mainly like a Swahili term, a Swahili word. I already gave like a background on why some of us use the word Muzungu. You know, it was a thing whenever we saw white people as kids. I mean, that's all we saw. Especially for me, growing up in a small town, that's all I saw. Like the foreigners who were coming there were white people. They were mainly like missionaries. They were either doing something in the hospital or something in the schools or something in the church. That was like their main thing. So every time we'd see them, we'd just run, laugh, and call them Mzungu. It was cute. They would wave back at us, would give us sweets. Yes, I know I'm painting the worst picture for you. A white man giving out sweets to little black kids just playing around. But it was a thing. It was just a word. Like there was no intent behind it. So now that we have black people coming onto the African continent, the word hasn't died per se. Like the word is still being used, but it's being, I feel like from my perspective, the word Mzungu carries the word foreigner in it. From my perspective, when you are a foreigner, once people hear you speak, once people hear your accent, then they will associate you with not being from here. And then they'll immediately say, oh my God, you are a white. I mean, they will obviously now say, hi, Mzungu, like, you're not from here or something like that. Now, I'm not trying to downplay the word because I know that the word carries so much weight and it's quite offensive to black people. And this is not to demean anyone's feelings or dismiss whatever it is that you feel when you hear that word. We'll read some comments and see some reactions from some people, you know. That is not to dismiss your feelings or say that you don't have a right to feel how you feel, because imagine coming from whatever it is that you face in the States, coming from racism, the internalized racism, the microaggressions, everything that has to do with you being a black person in the States, and then getting here thinking that you are about to be embraced, but only to get here and then once again you're seen as a foreigner. Now, I was actually talking about this on my live the other day, and I was saying how personally, let me give you guys a picture, right? Me that is a Ugandan with my blue passport. There's certain parts of the country that I'll go to and I'll be seen as a foreigner. And once they also hear me speak, they'll deem me a foreigner, right? So let's say the languages that I can't speak, let's say like Northern Uganda. If I go to Northern Uganda, I do not know the language, right? I do not know the language. I do know a few words. I do know the thank yous, the how are you, and afoyo, atilmabe. Those words. Those are the only words that I know from the north. Also, I'm not trying to generalize the whole north and say those are the languages that they speak. Those are the words that I know. I don't know which region. Those are the words that I know. Shout out to William. Should I call him our office messenger? That's where the words come from. He's the one who told me those words. Anyway, so words like that. So now if I go there and we're at a restaurant, we're ordering for food, what are they saying? 1, 2, 3, that's a foreigner. 1, 2, 3, foreigner. Like I can't be so offended because in their eyes, I'm not from there. They haven't seen me there. What am I doing there? Do I have any malicious intent with what I'm doing? The work that I'm doing. That's why when you even go to these areas, you need to get like an LC1 letter, or you need to get like a sort of permission from whoever's in charge of that area to let you like roam around or to let you do what you're doing. Now, especially people like us who like walk with cameras and whatnot, we do need permission, obviously, so that people don't feel like we're taking some sort of documentary and trying to sell them and their land, So it's things like that. That's why I say, now, I understand the offense that comes with the word Mzungu, but then on the other hand, it's just like, hey, you are not from here. That's just the honest truth. And I know that can be offensive because someone says, oh yeah, that's our land. Now, imagine me if I came into your estate. Wouldn't you be like, who is this girl? And what is she doing there? What is she doing here? I feel like that is the right way to respond to it. Let's look at the accent bits.
As an African American, you are way of talking, your mannerisms, your way of doing things will be seen by the Africans as actually different from what they are, from what they do, from the way they do things, and so on and so on and so on. So when they say,
he has mentioned something crucial, which is in what you do, your way of talking, your way of dressing, whether you like it or not, you will stand out. You will stand out. You have to stand out. Even I stand out when I go to the village. Even I stand out when I go to the north. Like, you will definitely stand out when you go to certain areas. So don't, there's nothing wrong with standing out, because the way you look, the way you dress, what you're saying, the way you're talking to the locals, that's different. And in a way you stand out, right? So I don't know. I'm trying to show you something. I know that Paul will get offended with this. I can already see the comments. But I'm just trying to show you that whereas after people get to know you and they know that you are contributing to the community in a positive way, you are received. But in the beginning, people will be quite cautious about you. People won't just embrace you with open arms in the beginning. And I feel like that's a thing we need to debunk, with people thinking they're going to come to Africa and then everyone is going to give them a big warm hug and give them some hot chai and some mandazi and invite them into their home. That is not going to happen. People are cautious, which is a normal thing, because you're not outright running towards people you don't know and deciding to embrace them. Now, mind you, people will be nice. I'll speak for this country. People are nice and people are really hospitable. But are they calling you in to just break bread with them before getting to know who you are? No. And that's the thing that I see in these comments, I see in most places, is the need. Is it need? The English. Is that thing of, you have to accept me just because we look alike. No, it doesn't work like that. People are cautious. A lot has happened to them. A lot has happened to both people, mind you. Both parties have gone through some tragic things, right? So you can't just accept people to embrace you. Like, that's the thing I want you. If there's nothing you take from this channel, take from me that you do not expect to be embraced openly in the beginning, until you prove to people. Now, I think I know someone saying, oh, but why do I need to prove to people I'm ABCD? Why can't you just, friend, which world do you live in? Which world do you live in where you don't have to prove to yourself that you have something to give? Which world is that?
When African American, you are a Mzungu, or when they call an African American Mzungu, they are recognizing, they are expressing that reality. And it's not a negative thing, because the truth is, if an African American tries, say, to speak an African language, the accent is different. It's more like the white American accent. And this is not something to be ashamed of. It's not a crime.
Thank you. He said it's not a crime to have your accent. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Let's practice this. Say it with me. Say Je Valeko. Now, when you say Je Valeko, do you sound like Je Valeko or do you sound like Je Valeko? Sorry, when you say words like that, like the Je Valeko, or like, what are you sounding like? Do you sound like me, or do you sound like you're not from here? I'm just trying to show you, like, your accent will throw you off. First of all, obviously there are different dialects, pronunciation in all parts of the world, like, we won't sound the same. But I'm just trying to tell you, like, something as simple as you learning the local word can notify people that you're not from there, and they will react how any other normal person reacts is that the alert goes off that this is a foreigner. It's not like, oh, now let me rob him. No, it's more like, this is a foreigner. Okay, now maybe I can teach him a few more words, or I need to be nicer so that they can get a good impression of the country. It's okay. Like, there's no need for this back and forth. When I did read some of the comments, let's read some of them. The first one was, I live in Ghana and it's very insulting. These are comments from Mr. Joseph Mbele, his YouTube channel. That particular video, he says, I live in Ghana and it's very insulting, the word obunoru. Now look at me saying obunoru. What is that? Take away my African card. He says the word obunoru. We are literally Black American or African American. They will say, but you're white. Sometimes I ignore it, and other times I rage out. In America, we say you sound white or you're acting white. Africans are more insulting. They call you white without you, and and don't see nothing wrong with it. Now I want to break down a few things that I said here. He says it's insulting. I think obunoru is the same word like for Muzungu in East Africa. Obunoru is like more from Ghana or whatnot. They will say you're white and ignores it, or sometimes they rage out. Word of advice, ignore it. It doesn't have any malicious intent. Now he goes on to say, I don't know if there's a lady or... They go on to say, let's use they, because I don't know if it's a lady or a gentleman. They go on to say, in America, when they say you sound white or you're acting white, like, they usually mean it for something. You know, that people are like, oh, she sounds so white. She sounds so, in Africa, that would be like an uppity African, like what they say, what they call Taylor, So things like that. But he's saying there's a reason why they would call someone white. That would be based off their actions. And it's like, why are you calling me white when you haven't seen me do or say anything that pertains to that? Now, you don't necessarily have to do or say anything that pertains to that. You just have to be looking different from them and sounding different for them to think you are white, which is American. I think in hindsight, it's meant to say you are American or foreigner. But, from the past years, people have just called it being a white person, so people have run with it. So there's that. As an African American, hearing someone call you Muzungu is biting. It can be soul crushing, and especially so you are the children of the slaves. It is calling me by the name of a person who could see me dead if they could have their way. A name of a person who has no respect for me or anything who looks like me. I understand it's not antagonism or fighting words, but it doesn't feel good. Yes, and like we said, it doesn't feel good for anyone, and I didn't even do this video to try to dismiss anyone's feeling or anything like that. I just did this video so that to sort of show you, like, to give you an insight on what Africans are thinking or what's going on here. Like, it's hurting, but like, once again, there's no malicious intent in it. Someone is saying pole brother for the Muzungu word. Yeah, it's kind of hurtful that people may say that, but the fact that people associate being American with being white, then they will say things like that. But I like that the world is changing, media is changing, people are getting more exposed, and they're finding out that, hey, this is offensive. I do believe it will take some time, but it's a process, so we will get there. This is the last. This is the last one that I'll be reading. African Americans have accepted we are American. So this guy is saying, I travel street presence Lewis. He's saying, I travel outside this country a few times and my wife is African and they see me as an American. Ooh, that's tough. And I have no problems with that. Stop trying to be like everyone else. We're respected because of what we went through in our country. So please take pride and accept you're an American. I think this is such a nice attitude to have. Like, just, you are your passport. That sounds so wrong. That sounds so wrong. And I hate when people attach things to that. But you're not your passport. I take that back. But you are who you are. And there's nothing that anyone says is going to do to take away from what you are. If someone woke up one day and called me a short pygmy or something, midget, there's not, why would I be offended at that? Because I know that's not what I am. Like, at the end of the day, I know deep down who I am and, the values that I stand for. And I think that's something important that we need to hold on to, because it's very easy to get offended in the side of the... By the way, people are going to say the wrong thing. I hope you know that and expect that when you come here. People may say the wrong thing. So it's a learning curve. teach people where you can and be told. It goes both ways. But yeah, that's it from me. Please let me know what you learned from this video in the comment section. Let me know if you like more videos like this. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Do all the nice things. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Check out my website, joanitamaaya.com. Everything that is about me is on the website, and Joanita Maaya on all social media platforms. I definitely will see you next time. Bye.